What is up, traders, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deeply into Tesla stock before its earnings, and we're going to be looking at the chart here to be looking at key technical areas to buy and where potentially the sellers may be found. As well, we'll be looking at the options put to call ratio to kind of gauge where the overall stock will move during the earnings call. So whether you're a trader or an investor, you don't want to miss out. So let's get started. So as you can see, I am on an hourly chart here of Tesla, and the stock is looking so far pretty good. We are well above the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA, which is this black dotted line. And it shows obviously that the buyers are in control because we are above both of those indicators. We actually came in and yesterday we found support here, rejection above it, found support exactly at the 50 EMA, which is nice to see. Show that the buyers are intensely here in the name. Now, I want to turn on the drawings here and kind of show you guys some key areas that I'm looking to buy the stock after the earnings. So we see that the stock is above the swing high anchored VWAP, which is another sign of bullishness here. And I believe, though, we have two cases, right? We know that Tesla is very volatile, especially during earnings, and generally it misses and it goes up, right? Anything can happen, vice versa. The market is very volatile and is a discounting mechanism. So if the stock decides to, sell off during earnings, I believe some key areas where we will find buyers are going to be towards the levels here of 321, 314, and 304. And especially around these higher zones, because a lot of support around these zones that was obviously, like I said, prior resistance. Now, on the other case, if the stock decides to go towards the upside, I believe it will go all the way towards 357 and obviously find some sellers towards there. This would obviously instantiate now the longer term uptrend, because if you look at the daily chart, this would now form a higher high and would now allow the stock to propulse towards upside and possibly come back and test it and shoot towards our overall price target that we've had on the stock towards $400. That would be a key level. Obviously, I'm not saying that the stock will do that today, but if we do break above 357 today on the earnings, there's a lot of bullishness, then we will possibly see a slower movement towards the eventual price of $400. Now, zooming back towards the hourly chart, the stock is pretty much right now so far pretty flat. It's actually selling off a little bit here on the open. It's $330 per share. But if we kind of look at now the options flow, the stock is telling us there's a lot of bullishness being factored in here. So looking here at the put to call ratio, you guys can see on my chart, we see that we have a DTE, or the date to expiration, for the options here. The put volume is a little bit less than the call volume. So there's some calls being heavily favored here for July 25. So we see that. And the call volume is higher for the following dates, right? We see call volume, call volume, call volume. But we only see the call volume being higher. And we see the put volume being higher here on August 29th here. You guys can see on the chart here. We have 2,900 here put volume compared to 2,600 of the call volume. So I expect some resistance around that zone, around that time frame, because we have that higher resistance. Now, going back towards the chart here, Tesla has been known to be, missing on earnings and seeing some volatility. If you go back to, let's say, the prior earnings that we had, kind of looking at the daily chart here, which is right here, they missed on the earnings, right? They had an estimate here of 40 cents, but they actually came in with 27 cents, right? A nice downside move here. And they reported also revenue came in lower than the expected, and still the stock moved up because obviously there's that future demand heavily factored within the stock. Now, if we look here at the year-over-year change here expected, we see now that the estimates are around 39 cents here, with the revenue estimates of 22 billion. If you look at the prior year, so go back here on last earnings of the last year, we see that the stock also is seeing less estimates here. So we see the estimate was 24 billion, and now the estimate here is pretty much 22 billion. Obviously, there's less revenue being factored in, and you guys know that the net profit margins, etc., all the fundamentals are actually going down here on Tesla. As well, we're seeing vehicle deliveries going down, so it's not looking too good for the company. And also the PE ratio is pretty high at around 187, which is a lot, right? And a lot of investment and excitement is being factored into the stock here. So overall, Tesla is so far right now looking bullish, but as we know, if there's any type of decline here on Tesla, regardless of whether they beat or miss. Is right. It's very volatile during earnings. I expect some areas of support here, like I said, towards 321, here around the zone here of 313 and the level of 304. And if the stock goes towards upside, this decisive break above 357 will instantiate the upside and will be really bullish towards the upside now towards $400 here on Tesla. So if you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel and give it a like to grow the community. And as always, don't let the markets whip you guys out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.